Today is the 58th anniversary of Malcolm X's death. Born Malcolm Little on May 19, 1925 in Omaha, Nebraska, Malcolm X's childhood was incredibly difficult. When he was just 6 years old, his father, a Baptist minister and former supporter of early black nationalist leader Marcus Garvey, was killed after being hit by a streetcar. Though ruled an accident, many people suspected his death was intentionally caused by white supremacists. His mother was committed to an asylum in 1939, with Malcolm and his siblings being placed in foster care. As a child, Malcolm was in and out of trouble, but as a young man, his criminal activity escalated, and in 1946, he was sentenced to prison for robbery. In prison, he was introduced to the Nation of Islam, which was a movement that combined Islam and black nationalism. The movement appealed to him, and he began to spend his time studying and learning all he could about Islam. In line with those teachings, he gave up smoking, drinking, gambling, womanizing, and eating pork. He also replaced his surname Little with an X, a custom with Nation of Islam followers who considered their family names to have originated with white slaveholders. Once released from prison, Malcolm X, with his charismatic personality, his depth of knowledge, and his incredible speaking skills, became a leader within the Nation of Islam, which saw its numbers grow tremendously. His message was in stark contrast to that of Dr. Martin Luther King. He believed in separation of the races and advocated for justice and freedom for black people by any means necessary, including violence if it came to that. He became a voice for the pent-up anger and frustration of so many people who had suffered discrimination and abuse for so long. But to many Americans, he was an extremist who incited and supported violence. As time went by, Malcolm continued to educate himself and seemed to be moving toward becoming a bigger part of the civil rights movement. There was a lot of tension between Malcolm and Elijah Muhammad, the leader of the Nation of Islam, due in large part to disagreement about the future of the movement. Malcolm X left the Black Nation of Islam in 1964 and renounced several of the movement's beliefs, including separatism. On February 21, 1965, while giving a lecture in Washington Heights, Malcolm X was assassinated by a member of the Nation of Islam, Thomas Hagen. He was just 39 years old. While Malcolm X remains an extremely controversial figure in history, given his evolving beliefs and his commitment to knowledge and personal growth, one has to wonder, had he survived, what more Malcolm X might have achieved within civil rights and in his life. Be sure to follow if you'd like to see tomorrow's Today in History.